The Detroit Lions just completed the 53-man 50 roster today. 50, that's right. Well, your Detroit Lions have finally gotten down to their initial 50-man roster today, and we're going to discuss that just a little bit about the most important player of the day, which is Ahmed Hassanein. Your 6th-round pick out of Boise State was released with an injury settlement, and I'm going to explain again what that means and the little caveat within that and how Ahmed may be able to sign with any other team but the Detroit Lions here in just a few weeks. Let's just kind of kick this off with what the hell happened. How did the Detroit Lions go from 9 defensive ends to 3? And how did you go from a promising young 6th-round pick from Boise in Ahmed Hassanein, the first Egyptian player ever to play in the NFL, to now you've released his rights and he's no longer a Detroit Lion? You've got to be kidding me. Right? That's what every fan is thinking right now. What in the world just happened? And what are they going to do? And I got a bigger question. Lions, you're the team that pushed to have 2 more IR designations before cuts. You're the team that brought it to the NFL. Why didn't you use it? That's the biggest question that I have. And I'm going to explain all of these things right now. So let's start with this, man. Your 6th-round pick, Ahmed Hassanein, out of Boise State. He came firing into this league, man. He came firing into the Detroit Lions. And, man, he just wanted to play. I'm going to die on that field for you, coach. I'm going to do whatever it takes, right? Energy, emotion, motor. The dude has it. And he was looking good. Not perfect, but he was looking good for a young guy, right? Give him a year or two. He probably would have been a star in this league in his own right. Definitely a really good rotational player, and I still have high hopes for the guy. And I want you to know, Ahmed Hassanein, I'm rooting for you, man. No matter where you are, I'm rooting for you to get back into the league and to show everybody why you belong here. Man, it really sucks to lose somebody like this, doesn't it? And to make matters worse, it's not just injury now. It's injury settlement, and he's gone. So what happened? Well, he suffered a pec injury in week 2 or preseason game 2 against Miami. And after he went down, thankfully, he avoided the rupture. But as Dan Campbell said, he was going to be out a bit or out a while. And that coach speak means it could be anywhere from now till the cows come home. We just don't know. Right? So it could be a 1 to 3 week thing. It could be a 2 to 4. It could be a 3 to 6. Hell, it could be a 6 to 12 week thing or the rest of the season. We really don't know. We have no idea. Now, from what we've heard from others that we know, he's doing okay. He's doing good. He'll be back sooner rather than later. And I believe in all of that. I really do. What I have heartburn with right now is, why did the Lions avoid using an IR to return designation today? They pushed for it. It would have given the Lions an extra roster spot. Essentially, here's kind of how it works, that on cutdown day, you can designate 2 guys with IR to return. They do not count against the roster. And placing a guy like Ahmed on IR to return really made a lot of sense. It really did. The same could have been said for Tristan Colombo. I mean, both players that I expected were probably going to go on that rule with IR, and it didn't happen. What teams could do by placing the 2 players on the IR to return, it's without them even making the initial 53, right? So it's before cuts. Those individuals still count towards the team maximum of 8 IR to return designations through the season. And I think that's the hiccup. I think that's what Brad and Dan were probably monitoring the closest. Understanding that we have quite a few players coming back already from injury, understanding that throughout the season you're going to suffer injuries, and they want to have all of those options to bring those players back. So instead of starting the season with 7 IR to return designations, and then you get an additional 2 in the playoffs, so they would have had 9 instead of 10 IR to returns had they put Ahmed Hassanein on that list. And I bet you that the question is, was he going to be able to return? And even if he was going to be able to return, were the Lions going to need him, right? And how much were they going to need him? I think that the answer to all of that is, I don't know. And maybe they knew a lot more than what we think they know. And maybe Ahmed Hassanein has a handshake deal with the Detroit Lions. According to a quote, we just have to trust the process from a reliable source. And I'll leave it at that. I'm hoping to see Ahmed Hassanein back in the Honolulu Blue, but I've got to be honest about one other thing. And that is Ahmed Hassanein is now a free agent. That's what he is. He's no longer a Detroit Lion. He has been released from his contract, and I think that's the most shocking thing that happened today. The Lions didn't just lose a player to IR, right, or waive and hope you come back, right? No, you release this player, and he's no longer a Detroit Lion today. You do not hold any rights over Ahmed Hassanein at all. He is not going through waivers. He doesn't need to. When he's healthy, right, he can come back. But here's the last and the final dagger that hurts the most, right? When you lose a good player like this, or a potential good player. Everybody else in the league gets a 3-week head start. The Lions have to wait an additional 3 weeks to bring Ahmed Hassanein back. So here's what that looks like. If Ahmed is down for 4 weeks, let's just call it 6. Let's say Ahmed is down for 6 weeks. He cannot become a Detroit Lion until after week 9. After week 9, the Detroit Lions can then re-sign Ahmed Hassanein to the squad. And we're hoping that happens, right? It's a similar situation to James Houston, I believe, that when James Houston was released, when he was drafted, right, he was then brought back, remember? And he signed that 2-year deal with the Lions. And a lot of people wondered, in the third year, like, what do you mean he needs another deal? I thought he was going to be with us for at least 4 years. No, he signed a 2-year deal with the Lions, not a 3, not a 4. So it's a very similar situation to where, James Houston was released, which immediately made him a free agent. And that's the difference with an injury settlement versus a waiver. And that's just how it goes. So what are the Lions going to do now is the biggest question. And where are they looking to target? I know some of you think that Zadarius Smith is coming back, and he might be. Matter of fact, he might be coming back after week 1. I'm going to stick firm and dig my heels in and say that he's absolutely not going to come back before week 1. But if he does come back some point throughout the season, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that Zadarius Smith is going to be a huge help to this team. I just don't think it makes sense right now. But my biggest question, right? 3 defensive ends to start the season right now. 3 open spots on the roster. Josh Paschal is supposed to come back. Are they banking that he's going to come back before week 1? Are they hoping that he's going to come back before week 2 and give him another 4 weeks from today? All of those things we don't know, right? Ali McNeil's going to be out another several weeks. He doesn't play defensive end anyway. So what are they going to do? Have the Lions changed their scheme and we just haven't caught on to it? I caught on to something at camp, right? It did look a little bit different at times. And I have alluded to a lot of you that have watched the live shows. I'm expecting a lot more linebacker involvement in this defense. And you could see a linebacker rotating down into that edge position or off ball, playing a little bit of off linebacker or off ball linebacker, as opposed to what we've seen with the 4-2 and the 4-3 hybrid defense that the Lions already run. That's an immediate fix. They could do that, right? They could run a lot more nickel. They could bring in some extra bigger safeties. Whatever it is they want to do, they can. But they still need depth. They still need defensive ends. They have to roll with about 5 this season to be comfortable, especially for injury in game, right? You have to have at least 5. So at the end of the day, the Lions cannot re-sign Ahmed Hassanein until 3 weeks after he comes back from his injury. Now, that injury is defined as the contract that he signed. So if the Lions gave him a 2-week injury settlement, he gets paid for 2 weeks, and then he gets 3 more weeks after that, where the Lions can then re-sign him. So at a minimum, it's 4 weeks before Ahmed Hassanein would be back, because it has to be a 1-week minimum, right? So it could be a 2-week, 3-week, 4-week, 5-week, 6-week injury settlement. We'll see what happens. It definitely took a lot of us sideways today, and I'm just hoping I clarified some things in this video and made some more sense to you as to what's happening with Ahmed Hassanein. And look, man, again, I wish him nothing but the best when he does get back. Now, if he is unclaimed, and obviously if his rehab does go well, and he can rehab independently too, by the way. He could join a practice squad, right? He could rejoin with the Lions later if he's not claimed. But the Lions, they're going to have to revisit this edge position pretty quickly and take a look around at who's available. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully, again, I made some sense out of the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the video and join us for the rest of the season as the Detroit Lions, man, march into the Super Bowl. We'll see you guys later. One Pride.